Good morning, Saints. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I'm Ari Renette.
And I'm Taylor Morehouse, and this is SFHS Today.
In world news, Ukraine struck the headquarters of Russia's Black Sea Fleet on Friday, leaving a serviceman missing and left the building in flames.
In national news, the strike continues with the United Auto Workers, with 38 more plants joining, according to ABC News. Ford seems to be coming closer with the deal with the UAW, President Shawn Fain said, and they still have some room to improve. Auto workers have been striking since September 15th, and with the new plants joining, approximately 18,000 workers will be on the picket line.
In school news, our homecoming game was last week, and we had some special guests. The homecoming king and queen from 1953 came to our game to show their Saints pride.
Tomorrow there is going to be an NHS induction for all the new NHS members. Logan and Danielle went out and talked to Sharon Bergman to find out more about it.
The NHS induction is tomorrow night, and it's basically a formal program, just getting them into the program and just getting them started, and then they're officially NHS students.
So before I actually came to this school, I got inducted at my last school in sophomore year, but moving to this school junior year, I got re-inducted, and so this is going to be my second year here in NHS.
There will be 27 new students. Most of them are juniors, but a couple of them are seniors.
What I like about NHS is the availability to do multiple things for the community. We do a lot of things inside the school, but outside the school and in the St. Francis ISD 15 community.
They have to be juniors or seniors, and they have to have a 3.65 GPA or higher, and then they have to fill out an application for it.
I would advise that you start volunteering now, and that every little thing academically that you think wouldn't affect you absolutely will and would. Having a higher GPA shows that initiative as well as that engagement that we really look for.
We have a blood drive coming up October 18th here at the high school, and so we are looking for anybody 16 years or older that wants to donate blood. It'd be super awesome, so look for the sign-ups in another week or so.
On Friday, September 30th, the American Indian Education Team wants us to wear orange to show our support for the Day of Remembrance. Quinn and Owen spoke to the coordinators of this event.
September 30th every year is recognized as the National Day of Remembrance for Indian boarding schools. That's here in the US and in Canada. They call it the Day of Truth and Reconciliation. And so another name for it is Orange Shirt Day. And so we've got our orange shirts here. It's called Orange Shirt Day because a woman who is from Canada was sent to a boarding school when she was little, and she was really excited. At first, she got to wear this beautiful orange shirt that her grandma got her, and as soon as she got to the boarding school, they made her take it off, and she never saw that shirt again.
For Native Americans, some of the Native Americans were, like Haley said, forcibly removed. Some, I believe, I did hear some went willingly on their own, but they were taken from their community and lived at the boarding school, and they learned a new way of life. And when some of them were able to return home, they had lost a lot of their culture.
The whole idea of boarding schools is to strip that culture away from Native people and take away their personal identity. Minnesota's past with Native people is very complicated, and the boarding schools are a really problematic part of our past. And I think it's really important to understand that these things didn't happen hundreds and hundreds of years ago. That's not when it ended. There are many people that are still walking around that attended these boarding schools. This is still something that's very fresh, something that affects families today. And so it's really important to learn about days like these and to just strive to keep learning about it. We hope that everybody will wear an orange shirt on Friday. Our goal is to have as many people wearing them as possible so that people start asking those questions and start to hear more about this.
Thank you for your insight on this important day. Remember to wear orange on Friday. Aiden, Tyler, and Hunter took a walk over to the Student Union to talk to Don Abraham about the college fair that we hosted last week. In addition, they spoke to SFHS alum Cassidy Disroot about her job repping Osborne College. Let's go see what it's all about.
I think it was a huge success. We had a lot of colleges and students in attendance, and overall it went really well.
I had a lot of fun at the college fair. It was very surreal being there, as like 5 years ago I was attending it. So now kind of being able to represent and be there is really cool.
We actually had 68 colleges show up last night, so good attendance. We actually not all high schools have the opportunity to have a college fair at their high school. So there's an application process that we do. And fortunately, we've been selected every year to have a fair at our high school.
This was like one of our first events of kind of getting Step Up involved in college fairs. Normally Augsburg goes on its own, but we decided to join. The Step Up program is a collegiate recovery program. So it's a program for people who are in recovery and they're still wanting to go to college. It was very cool being back and being able to kind of spread that message of that collegiate recovery exists, especially during like September is addiction recovery month. So it was very, very special to be a part of that.
I think just overall seeing students get excited about coming in, getting college information, and start that application journey.
Nola and her team saw that fall was coming around the corner and thought they should go try some new drinks that Starbucks, Caribou, and Dunkin' have. They brought some pumpkin spice back to school for a taste test challenge.
It didn't taste like anything. It's sweeter. I'd probably say about a 7.
All right, Starbucks. First one, a 6.
I like that one better. A 7 out of 10. I'd say a 6 out of 10. 4. I'm gonna go 5. It needs to say 6. That's a 3. -2. 5. Like 7. It has a bad aftertaste. I'll give it an 8.
Wow. Middle one, 8.
No.
8 out of 10. I'd say 5. It tastes like water. 5. I'd say like an 8. 5. It doesn't taste like bad breath. This doesn't taste like something.
I'd say probably like a 6. This one is like watered down.
I'd say like a 6 or 7.
What's in that one? What is that? All right, I think I give Duncan a 9.
Which one would you guys rate the best?
I'd say the Dunkin'.
I personally think the first one.
I gotta go with Dunkin'.
I'll go Caribou.
The last one. The last one. The last one. Dunkin'. Caribou.
Which one was the best?
Duncan.
Now let's pass it over to sports.
Hey, Saints. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Hyatt. And this is sports. In worldwide sports news, women's tennis player Coco Gauff received a $3 million check for winning the U.S. Open title earlier this month. This was a huge event in sports history as she received the same amount of money as the men's championship winner Novak Djokovic.
In national sports news, Miami Dolphins beat the Denver Broncos 70-20, which is the 4th time in football history where a team has scored 70 points. In the press meeting, head coach Sean Payton said, obviously, that was embarrassing and tough to watch.
In school sports news, the Fighting Saints took on the Sauk Rapids Rice last Friday for their homecoming game, ending with a score of 16-7, bringing the record to 0-4. After an unnerving hit, a Sauk Rapids Rice player was temporarily paralyzed, causing a 30-minute game delay. According to a social media post from a player's friend, he regained movement in the ambulance, and after the injury, he went home.
Continuing with school sports, the Fighting Saints meet Cambridge for their homecoming game, senior night, and battle for the paddle.
On Saturday during the homecoming dance, Riley Brenhofer and Destiny Chroma were crowned king and queen by the alumni Caden Heckenleibel and Michaela Rothbauer, and the former homecoming king and queen from 1953 attended the game, and KARE 11 News came up to cover the story.
Continuing from last week's coaching couple segment, Aiden Carlson, Hunter Pavey, and Tyler Pearson went to interview Dylan Schroeder about his life as a coach.
How has it been as the new offensive coordinator?
It's been pretty good so far, I think. Obviously, it's been a transition, taking a role like that, but luckily we have a lot of really good assistant coaches, especially on the offensive end, who have played a lot of college football and know what they're doing, obviously, and they've been very supportive, as has our entire staff. And we got good kids who are buying into what we're doing, and I think we're getting better each week. But on top of that, it's just been a lot of fun. Being able to call the plays and install things at practice, and try to play to our strengths.
How has the switch been from JV to varsity?
It's been a lot more intense, obviously, going to like the varsity level, and on a Friday night you have quite a bit larger crowd, and the pace of the game's a lot faster. One of the biggest things that have been a difference, which is obvious, is the defense that we'll see each week. They're doing a lot more things. They're changing, whether what they're doing up front or what they're doing in the secondary. At the JV level, it's more vanilla. You see oftentimes the same coverage or the same front the entirety of the game. And while things change, you have to change on the fly and make adjustments with your staff, with your players. So that's probably been the biggest change.
Do you think being a student athlete has helped you coaching-wise?
I do. I think, as a former student athlete, just having been through it before and knowing what the expectations are and knowing how you have to juggle a schedule and stay on top of school first, and also be able to get in the playbook and the film room and make sure you're doing what you need to, has been an experience that I can relate to. And even right now, I'm working on my master's and having to go from practice to home and work on my college homework and make sure that I have that done. I think that's important, because then when I hear students falling behind or they're having trouble with their schedule, it's easy to talk to them about.
How do you think the season is going?
Truly, each week, I think, especially on the offensive end, we're getting better. I think it's been no secret that we lost a lot of players, and some of the guys that we brought in didn't have a lot of experience, but now we're starting to see some of those guys who had their first start or second start truly get better each week. And we've played 2 pretty competitive games against some high-level opponents here the last couple weeks, and I think we're putting it together, and we'll start to see some more success here soon.
How was it like living with another coach?
It's been pretty fun, honestly. We're both very busy, of course, I never feel like if we're coming or going, especially in the summertime with so many different camps going, and obviously my summers are off, but hers aren't, so a lot of the camps that she would do were in the afternoon, so I would come home when I was done and she'd be leaving. But it truly is a lot of fun to be able to go to the volleyball games and support that program, and now watching Rachel be the head coach, it's been a lot of fun. And at home, it hasn't really changed much other than just kind of talking about things, about what happened at practice or that week. If anything, it's made it more relatable, more things you can talk about or connect on, and it has truly been a lot of fun.
That's all the sports we have for you this week.
Now back to me.
Last week we had a beater of the week, but this week we got a new and improved whip of the week.
This is Whip of the Week, segment we're bringing back from last year. It's a counterpart to Beater of the Week, and we go around in the parking lot looking for the nicest whip.
I drive a 67 Mercury Cougar.
And what do you think of your brother's whip?
It's a piece of junk. Honestly, it's about to fall apart, and I don't feel safe riding in it. I feel pretty cool when I'm driving it, and obviously it's like really fast.
Yeah. What motor does it got?
It's got a 289.
Yeah, son.
Small block Ford. Yep.
What are you working on for it?
Working on getting some wheels and tires. Already did a lot of work to it before that.
Where'd you get this thing?
California, out in Sacramento. Had a trailer pack.
Nice.
How long did it take you to get it as nice as it is now?
8 months.
What work have you done to it since you bought it?
I replaced the floors, carpet, pretty much all the interior redid, or bought new parts for it.
Will we be seeing you at the St. Francis car shows?
Next year, yeah, for sure.
That's all we got for you this week. Stay safe, Saints!